Hi there! I'm a herald in the Society for Creative Anachronism, and today I'm hosting an episode of Draw My Blazon for the Kingdom of Atlantia. We are going to start with the written description for the coat of arms. This is the blazon. Purple, argent, and azure, on a fess wavy codice counterchanged, a crown Valerie or, over all a laurel wreath vert. Are you confused? It's okay. We'll follow the description one piece at a time. Now, most people prep for drawing coats of arms by first drawing a shield. Here's how I do it when I don't have a template. First, I decide how wide it's going to be. Then I mark down half the width from the top. Here's where I pull out the compass. I set the diameter to be the width of the shield to draw the lower curve, ending halfway between the sides to form the point at the bottom. Trace over the pencil marks with a pen and voila, a shield. The first part of the blazon is purple, argent, and azure. This means the background is split vertically, white on the left and blue on the right. Next, on a fess. A fess is a horizontal stripe that goes all the way across the field. Usually, the height of the fess is a third of the total width of the shield you're drawing on. I'm skipping ahead a little in the blazon because it says that this is counterchanged. Wait, what's that? Vocabulary time! In Herald speak, argent means white or silver, and azure is blue. Counterchanged means the opposite coloration. Just switch off across the dividing line of the background. So, now we get to color in the design. And because this is counterchanged, the fess gets split in half, and you can see how the colors alternate. This isn't a boring fess. It's a fess wavy, which means that we draw the edges of the fess with a wavy line. It's a little more difficult, but I think it's pretty. Sometimes a fess wavy is just called a wave in heraldry. Hey, it's waving at you! Next, we see it's on a fess wavy codice counterchanged. Codices are thin lines that run parallel to a charge, like our fess, but are spaced a little bit apart from it. Unless otherwise noted in the blazon, they should match the line style of the charge that they're paired with. See how this is really starting to look like rippling sea waves? When we look back at the full blazon, we've drawn the first part of the arms, the vertical division, and the second part, the wavy fess and its codices. Next, we're drawing the crown on the fess. There are so many types of crowns. Artistically, it can be a free-for-all. This is what a Valerie crown looks like. The points are drawn just so. It looks like the crown that the Sea King from The Little Mermaid wears. Remember that the blazon says on a fess? That means that the next item is placed on top of the fess, right in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. Draw the crown Valerie on top of the fess and color it or. Remember I said argent is white or silver and azure is blue? Well, or is yellow or gold. Vert is green, and of course counterchanged is where you alternate between the previous colors. We're ready to add in the last element of the blazon. Overall, a laurel wreath vert. That means the laurel wreath is large and surrounds the crown. Now we have the coat of arms for the Kingdom of Atlantia. Yay! Crowns are reserved charge in SCA heraldry. Only kingdoms and monarchs technically can use them. Laurel wreaths are reserved too. They signify that the coat of arms belongs to a geographically bound SCA branch. So, this is also the arms of the king. This design can only be worn by the king or their official representative, like the Kingdom Herald, speaking on his behalf. Well, usually. I have a bumper sticker with this design on my car. Some things just aren't worth fighting about. If you want to show your affiliation with Atlantia without accidentally claiming to be the reigning monarch, drop off the reserved charges and you have the version of the kingdom arms that anyone can display. This is called a populist badge. There's a variation of the kingdom arms for the queen. We replace the laurel wreath with a chaplet of roses. A wreath or chaplet of roses is reserved too. It's for the queen. A lot of folks in the SCA think that roses can only be displayed by queens and princesses, but that's a misconception. As long as you don't arrange them on a wreath, you'll be okay. I decorated one of my gowns with embroidered roses, and folks regularly give me grief over it since I've never been royalty. It's pretty and I'm allowed to wear it. But I digress. Atlantia uses the proper coloration for the rose chaplet. Red petals, yellow seeds, and green barbs and stems. But what about the prince and princess? We have a solution. In heraldry, a label is used for the firstborn or heir. Labels are kind of odd to look at. A label is a horizontal bar with 3 or 4 square bits hanging on the bottom. Sometimes the dangly bits are slightly dovetailed, but the two versions are often used interchangeably. So, if we start with the king's arms and drop a label over everything else near the top, we now have the prince's arms. Similarly, add a gold label to the queen's arms and it becomes the princess's arms. Remember what I said about the populous version of the kingdom arms? Atlantia has another populous badge that is more fun to use in my opinion. Fieldless, a unicornate natural seahorse erect azure. Seahorses are great for random decoration. Erect means the critter is standing upright. Well, in this case, swimming upright. Natural means as found in nature. Unicornate means it has a unicorn's horn. Color it blue with the white fin. Fieldless means a design has no background. You can place it on anything you want. Now we have Atlantia's mascot. His name is Spike! There are 2 other color variations for Spike. Blue is the most popular version, and it's used mostly on white or yellow backgrounds. The second is Argent fin de jour, which is just the opposite coloration from the first Spike we drew. We usually see Argent spikes on dark or colored backgrounds. Oops, I forgot to add the Argent fin for the first version. That's an important detail. Spike is a natural seahorse. Heraldry is oddly literal. Unless expressly mentioned, seahorse in a coat of arms means a creature with the front half of a horse and the hind end of a fish. When the rules of heraldry were made, there was no photography. So, artists and everyone else often only had 3rd, 4th, or 10th hand descriptions of foreign creatures to draw from. Composite monsters were also a thing. See anything means half fish. Natural means the actual critter as found in the wild. A heraldic beast is often very different. See? Now, the last color variation is solid gold. Not many people know about this one, but I like it. Now we can draw the arms and badges of the Kingdom of Atlantia, my home kingdom, that shows its love for the Atlantic Sea right there in its heraldry. Vivat! 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 Thanks for drawing with me. The music is the dance tune Gathering Peace Gods. Click to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.